Can you understand me is something that the Buffalo police never asked. I watched the entire 6.5 minutes of the police body cam footage of the initial arrest of Nurul Shah Ala, and the police do not even once ask, can you understand me? Do you speak English? Anything like that. Shah Ala is blind. He's got no way of knowing the people standing in front of him are wearing uniforms. He doesn't speak English. He's got no way of knowing what they're saying. And I totally understand that blind folks who don't speak English, it's like a subset of like people. I totally understand why that wouldn't be anybody's guess right off the bat. I can totally understand why the cops would be confused. But blind and cannot speak English is not the only plausible explanation for Shah Ala's behavior in that situation. This could have been a person who had epilepsy and just had a seizure. After people wake up from a seizure, it takes a while for all the systems to come back online. They call it being post-dictal, so they can be kind of loopy and groggy for a while. Or this could have been somebody who was having a stroke. When people are having strokes, they usually can hear you and understand what you're saying, but the part of their brain that handles speech gets all fucked up. They call it going aphasic. So this could have been a person in the middle of a medical emergency. Hell, he could have just been drunk. Like a drunk guy stumbling up in somebody's backyard. That's like not science fiction. That's like a thing that happens. And if those two cops had any connection to the community that they were policing, they would have known they're in the middle of a really heavily immigrant area, right? Ontario Street, Tonawanda Street, that's Little Burma, right? There's signs in front of like all the store windows that are in Karen. If you watch the video, they're just like barking like dogs at him, and he just keeps saying, okay, sorry, okay, sorry, okay, sorry. It's the only words he knows. He's got an obvious heavy accent. Asking, hey, do you speak English? Do you understand what I'm saying? Is the logical, rational, adult thing to do. But that's not what the cops do, because the cops get trained. No, trained is the wrong word. They get brainwashed into thinking that whenever they're in a confusing situation, that must mean they're in danger and they need to react like that. From the time those two cops saw Mr. Shah Ala to the time that he was lying on the ground with 4 taser hooks in him, 1 minute had passed. Barely 1 minute had passed. I timed it. There is 0 moment in that video where he's swinging his mobility cane or raising his voice or running towards people. Shah Ala is clearly trying to leave, but he can't because the cops have blocked him in. The cops are not backing up themselves and letting the guy come out, right? They've trapped him in and are now escalating the situation, making it into a dangerous situation. And don't you dare try to tell me, well, you just don't know what you would do in that situation. Motherfucker, you don't know what you're talking about. I've been in that situation more times than those cops have been in that situation. And I have never tackled a stranger to the ground and tased them. I've worked in a group home full of adults that had severe developmental disabilities who couldn't respond back to like commands that you gave them. I worked as an EMT for Rural Metro back when Rural Metro was still a thing. I worked on the exact same 911 calls that the Buffalo PD did. I also was a U.S. soldier for 6 years in the Army Reserve, got deployed once to Africa, never shot anybody. Nobody ever shot me. And when I was in my 20s, I got out of the country a bunch. I traveled a bunch. I went to Vietnam. I went to Cambodia. I spent 9 months in Nicaragua. I barely knew Spanish. I got thrown into plenty of situations where I was confused as to what was going on and nobody could communicate with me. But guess what? I figured it out. Right? Because I was not given a tool belt full of weapons and qualified immunity and the green light to do whatever the fuck I wanted. So I had to go out there and be Dr. Bruce Banner, not the Incredible fucking Hulk. And if I can do it, then Buffalo's finest can do it as well. You know, those cops saw Mr. Shah Ala acting in an odd way, and they thought, oh my God, I must be in danger. That's not me. Like if I saw Mr. Shah Ala acting in an odd way, I'd say, oh my gosh, he must be in danger. He needs help. Look, all of this is a different conversation than the conversation revolving around how ICE and Border Patrol treated Mr. Shah Ala. But there's a conversation that us locals in Buffalo need to talk about again. And it's not the first time this has come up, right? This is after the murder of George Floyd, after the hospitalization of Martin Gugino and the whole like BLM uprisings that summer in 2020. Like we've had all these conversations before. The Buffalo police know what it is that they need to do to get their shit together and to be somebody that the community feels they can trust, but they just won't do it. Look, the other thing too is one of those cops keeps yelling, he bit me, he bit me. I don't know if I believe her, right? Like she could have jammed her hand in the guy's mouth in the struggle and decided that that was biting. Hell, in the middle of that tussle, she may have grazed her own knuckle against somebody's belt buckle and thought, oh my God, that was a tooth, and got it in her head that somebody bit her. But between you and me, I hope he fucking bit her, and I hope it fucking sucked.